A few weeks ago, I sat down and unboxed the CMF Phone 2 Pro from nothing. I unboxed the earbuds, I unboxed their Watch Pro, and my goal was to switch to Android because I love the way these CMF phones look, the Nothing phones look. Of all of the non-Apple phones that are out there, Android basically, I think CMF and Nothing are the most interesting of all of the phone companies. So my goal was to switch from iPhone to Android, finally. I don't think I've ever owned an Android device ever. I've had an iPhone. I got the iPhone after I had one of those flip open with the keyboard inside. I don't even know what the phone was. This was back in 2013, I think, was when I got the iPhone 4S, or maybe it was the iPhone 4, and I've just had iPhone. Now, a lot of you might be aware, and usually on this channel, I usually have some amount of a bulleted script, but I just wanted to kind of rant or maybe just talk because I just have a lot of feelings. There's nothing there's not a list of things. It's more of an experience here, and I think from my video on unboxing this and talking about Android, there was a lot of backlash about iMessage specifically. So anyway, before we dive into this, on this channel, we talk about tech that marries form and function. We like tech that improves our lives and looks good while doing so. We also approach tech from an intentional living, a minimalist perspective. So if that sounds cool to you, please consider subscribing and like this video for more. Yeah, so switching to Android from iPhone. As much as I am interested in doing so, I don't think it's possible for me in my life right now. And let's talk about why. It's not that I don't want to, it's not that I hate Android. In fact, there's a lot about Android that I love. There's a lot about Android that I've enjoyed exploring on this device. Let's talk about this device specifically. The biggest problem here is no eSIM availability. So I can't just take my eSIM out of my iPhone and put it onto the CMF Phone 2 Pro here. I would need a physical SIM. So I need to go to my provider, Mint Mobile, ask for a physical SIM with the eSIM number on it, get that sent, put it in here. That would be a process, and then switching back to my iPhone if I wanted to would be difficult to do. So this phone, specifically, I'm not able to really do that jump. That said, a lot of you all pointed out, if I'm gonna be going to Android from iPhone 16 Pro, I would need to go to the latest Pixel Pro phone to get that pro to pro, on equal playing ground experience. Going to a budget phone from a company that already makes budget phones is not really a way to go. And while I understand that, this is the experience that I wanted. I didn't want Pixel, I didn't want Samsung, I wanted CMF, I wanted Nothing phone. I wanted that software experience because I like the design and the feel of using it. That said though, I understand that comparison and I do agree. I think being able to really jump over and start trying out Android, I would need to go to a phone that is comparable in price, in materials, things like that. I'm very interested in the Pixel lineup way more so than the Samsung. I'm just not a huge Samsung fan. I don't really like the way they look. I just don't really like it. And I think at least Google and Pixel is kind of trying to do their own thing on top of Android. I don't know how to explain it really, and that might be offending some of you. But so there's that, right? This phone specifically, I can't make the jump. The next big things are things that everyone deals with when trying to either jump from Android. Well, it's easier to jump from Android to iPhone, I feel, than iPhone to Android, but iMessage. There was a lot of backlash with people saying who uses iMessage? Or just don't use iMessage, use WhatsApp, it's way better, or Telegram, or whatever other messaging app people around the world use more than iMessage. The problem is, here in America, as far as I understand, anyone with an iPhone usually defaults to iMessage. It's built in and it's just easy, especially, I know more about this, in my area of the country, here in Virginia, here in Southwest Virginia, people get iPhones and they use iMessage. They don't get an iPhone to use WhatsApp. In fact, the only time I ever really see someone with an iPhone using WhatsApp is if their kid has an Android or something like that, and then they're using iMessage for everything except messaging their kid. So iMessage is just the thing here. And even more specifically, even tighter of a circle, everyone around me has an iPhone. My mom and dad, my sister, my wife, all of my friends. I maybe have 2 or 3 friends on Android. So the idea of just using WhatsApp would actually involve me getting everyone around me on board to use WhatsApp. So that's hard. And going from blue bubbles to green bubbles, a lot of you all like gave me backlash on that too. And it's not about like blue bubble or green, the color of the bubble. It's that everyone uses iMessage. So there's this certain like status quo of if I break out of that, I become annoying to everyone around me. And I think with RCS, a lot of that is gonna get changed, but then we bump back to like, what would it take for me to switch to this phone with the eSIM and the SIM and all that kind of stuff. So there's a piece of me that wants to try switching to like the new Pixel when it comes out. It's possible I'll pick one of those up and see if I can actually switch over my phone number for a couple weeks or something. But the iMessage thing is hard. The second thing, which I kind of mentioned in that video, is my wife and I take a lot of pictures of our kids specifically on our iPhones, and we love the live photos feature. We have a shared iCloud, which all of our photos are in there. At the end of the day, my wife and I will sit on the couch and she'll be like, send me pictures you took of the kids, and airdropping them to her quickly and easily, so simple. And then she can sit there and watch all of the live photos, which I know like Google Photos has some like live photo-esque features. I think it's called something else, but it just doesn't translate. And I think my wife having an iPhone is probably the biggest hindrance. I would be the biggest hindrance to her of anyone else. Like that between me and her communicating, sharing location with her, which is something I like to do with my wife. I want her to know where I am and vice versa. There's just a lot that Apple has done to trap us into this ecosystem, and a lot that we're just happy with. Like I'm not unhappy with iPhone. It's just that being a tech reviewer, a tech YouTuber, someone interested in tech, I want to explore other devices. So it's not like I'm unhappy with my current provider and would like to move to a different one. It's just that I have an interest in other software, other hardware, other companies outside of Apple. But I love Apple. My wife loves Apple. I think it's just, like I've said, we've grown up in Apple, like everyone around me has. And so this problem becomes maybe a little bit harder than some of you understand, especially if you're using WhatsApp and stuff. You literally can just switch your SIM card over, like, because you're just still gonna use WhatsApp, for instance. So anyway, that is the problem here with me specifically in trying to switch to Android. And I hate it. Like I wish it was easier to switch over and switch back and it wouldn't be. My biggest thing is I don't want to be a hindrance to like my loved ones, like my mom and my dad and my sister and my wife and my close friends. Like they would have to adjust to me switching to Android. And I don't really think that's fair. I don't know. And I know a lot of you will kick back on a lot of this and just be like, do what you want, which I've gotten some comments like that in the past, especially towards my wife, which it's not just about me. So anyway, that's it. I cannot currently, and maybe when life settles down a little bit and our kids aren't young and things slow down a little bit, I can explore that a bit more. I can explore dumb phones a bit more. That's the thing with dumb phones is like, I love the idea of a dumb phone, but there's so much that I use this for my family specifically that allows me to be a better father because of the tools here. That said, you can be a better father by being more intentional with your devices, but right now in my area of life, switching to Android isn't something I should be doing. It's not that I can't, it's that it would just make life more difficult for me and my family. So good job, Apple, on trapping us in. Sorry, Android, you won't be fully seeing me commit to you anytime soon. But that said, I would still love to review Pixel products. You know, if it gets to the point on this channel where they have the budget to be buying the latest Samsung, the latest Pixel, like I would love to do that. Like I love technology, like I said before, and exploring it. But for now, I can't just make the jump. And if I make videos of making the jump, it would be maybe using my second number that I use for dumb phones, putting it into a device and trying to use it phone in each pocket kind of thing, just to test out the phones, but not actually make it my, you know, daily driver, for instance. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. I'd love to hear like your thoughts on my thoughts in the comments down below. Let's keep it nice though. Like, there's no need to be mean or rude. Let's just have fun and talk about technology. That's why we're all here. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. If you're new, please subscribe, like this video for more, watch this video next. I think you're gonna love it, and we'll see you all in the next one.